and it's getting a bit warmer now, so obviously we're still in this energy crisis, and I have me feeling a little bit out of it, a bit kind of despondent, a little bit, you know. But my brain never stops working on ideas, and so I was coming up with this idea of using an Alnico. If you remember previous designs, I actually built a system using 4 Alnicos all in one bank of magnets, and I was using that to try to generate power through an inductive circuit to collect energy through some of the coils. Now, I was having an idea about how it would be possible to create a magnetic switch situation where the amount of power required will be minimal. Excuse me. So let me try and explain what my idea was, or is rather. By using some static magnets, some standard neodymium magnets, and a bridge of steel went across, having 2 pieces of steel over, well, steel there, and an Alnico in the middle. Now, my idea would be to pulse the Alnico to switch its polarity so that it would become, say, south on this side. That would effectively short out the magnet on this side, so that this magnet would be short-circuited, and it would have a circuit there which would allow the opposite pole, south, to transfer through to a rotor system to drive. So it would basically be pushing on a south field of magnetism on this side, and it'd be attracted to the north field on this side. And the idea would be to switch the Alnico at the crossover point. The reason for that is that's at maximum, that's in a dead area, so you're not trying to push, you're not using an energy to try to push against the magnet, this south field, because even though it would be beneficial in rotational power, you would actually consume more power doing that, because you're fighting against that opposition. So by having it on attraction mode, being pulled in, you would use less power. So it would basically be attracted to this north, causing the rotor to move. I've actually got this arrow the wrong way around, really, but anyway, this one here, it could be rotating in that direction as well. So if we switched over to south, and it would be pushing that way, and it would be attracting to this north. Now, obviously, it would be another crossover point over here, and when it came to that point, it would be switching over to south. So you'd have it so that you would have a magnetic field that was stronger north over here and a weaker north over here, so that it would accelerate the rotor through. That's my idea I was thinking about, and I wanted to share it. Obviously there's somebody out there that would probably want to build this. I'm not in the mood to do that right now, because, as I say, I'm just trying to stretch my money at the moment. Anyway, so imagine you have this, you flip the field and you're shorting out the north field there, and this south field here on this magnet would then be able to propagate and attract to the north over here, and the rotor would move. And when you get to that crossover point, you would need some means of switching it over, so that you would pulse the coil again and flip the polarity so that it would no longer be south. You would short out this south instead, so this would become north, and then this would short out this side, and then this north would then be propagated to the rotor, and then you will be pushing against that north field, and then the rotor will continue to turn. Obviously, if you reverse that, the rotor would be going in the other direction, anti-clockwise. So So anyway, I wanted to share that idea with you because I'm sure there's somebody out there who wants to build that. But it's fairly simple. I mean, my idea would be to use a piece of either steel tubing on the end of the Alnico to rotate the field around there, or a ball bearing, steel ball bearing. I'm not sure which would be most beneficial, but you would have to have a fairly slim assembly, because the Alnicos that I'm talking about are these, hang on a minute, let me grab one. They're the ones using guitar pickups. They're these Alnicos are very small. They're about, actually I've forgotten how wide they are now. I think they're 5mm or 6mm. Hang on, let me get the calipers. So, get my calipers. So they're quite small. They're about 4.89, well, they're actually 5. I think they're 5mm, but my calipers aren't very good. They're cheap Chinese ones, so they're a little bit out. But yeah, you can get these off eBay, these Alnicos, and you can reverse polarize them. You can change the polarity by using an electric coil to flip them. Let's see. I've got a couple of them here. I've got a whole packet of these actually. So this, you would basically have one of these Alnicos. They could stick two together in a long chain like this, and you would have a coil. You'd have them inside a tube. You'd wind a coil around them, and then you'd use them to short out the other field. To create that effect. Now, I mocked it up yesterday with this bit of steel here. This bit of steel, and I used some hang on, just let me grab it. So I've got these Alnicos, these little tiny Alnico magnets, and what I did basically was attach some magnets. Oops, get off mate, it's following me. And then you swap the end over, so at this end, oops, is on the other end, sort of like that. And then you have your Alnico in the middle. Oops, hang on. I dropped it, hang on. I can't do this with one hand. I should have put my phone in the stand, shouldn't I? But try and get this on there. But when you put your Alnico in the middle, like that, right, when you get the Alnico in the middle, one field is shorted out, right, and the other one isn't. So at the moment, that one is pulling, and the opposite end should be dead, and it is, more or less. As you can see, it's very weak. So some of the field has been shorted out. So these neodymium magnets on this end have very little effect, because the Alnico is subtracting that field from this end, as you can see. Right, but this end is strong because it's allowing the other neodymiums to do their job. And obviously when you flip the field using the Alnicos, you flip them around using a pulse, then this side would become active and this side would become inactive. So you'd effectively create a switch, right? A magnetic switch, and you'd pulse the Alnico with a coil around it to get the field that you wanted. So you could use that technically as a magnet motor. But it will be in a balanced state, because remember, the amount of attraction to this side, when you flip the field, it will be just as favourable, I can't say the word because I've got no top teeth, favourable for it to attract to that side as it would be to attract to that side. Now the other thing I've been trying to work out is the fact that when this is rotating, it will be important that you're using the attraction, right? Because if you're using the repulsion, then the repulsion of this side pushing up against the Alnico would probably demagnetize it, right? So what you really want is the attraction side to do the rotational effect on the magnet motor, because if you didn't, then you would create you would affect, if it was pushing against the other field, it would demagnetize it, so you would lose your force really, and it would become inert sort of thing. So the attraction side is what you really want. If you get what I'm saying. I thought I'd share that anyway. It's just some ideas I want to share with you. I might build it, I don't know yet, I'll see. It's some ideas that might work for some people. You'd have to time it properly though. You would need I would have to build a new circuit if I want to do this. I would have to build a new timing circuit using like a H-bridge circuit to flip-flop the polarity, so that we could have a positive and a negative pulse. And obviously I've got a H-bridge, but that's a timed circuit. That means it runs by itself. It uses an internal oscillator. So we would need an external trigger circuit to make that work. I suppose my current H-bridge circuit could possibly be modified, so instead of an oscillator built in, we would use an external pulse to flip it one way or the other. That's possible, but I just don't feel up to building a complete circuit right now, because it costs me money and I haven't got the money right now. It's just, yeah, things are very hard right now. So anyway, I hope you find that interesting, and I hope it helps somebody. Alright, see you later.